Imagine this. You are a soldier. You are standing in a narrow mountain pass. The ground beneath your feet is stone. The sea is to your right. The cliff is to your left. And in front of you, stretching as far as the eye can see, is the largest army ever assembled in human history. 1 million men. Some historians say more. And you? You have 300. Most men would run. Most men would surrender. Most men would beg for their lives. The Spartans did none of those things. They sharpened their spears. They combed their hair. And they waited. This is the real story of the Battle of Thermopylae, the most legendary last stand in the history of warfare. Part 1. The world in 480 BC. To understand Thermopylae, you need to understand the world of 480 BC. The Persian Empire was the most powerful civilization on Earth. Under King Xerxes I, it stretched from Egypt to India, covering over 5 million square kilometers. No empire before it had come close. Xerxes was not just a king. He was considered a god on earth by his people. His word was absolute law. His army was unstoppable, or so everyone believed. Greece, by contrast, was a collection of small, constantly quarreling city-states. Athens, Sparta, Corinth, Thebes. They couldn't agree on anything, least of all how to fight together. But 10 years earlier, at the Battle of Marathon, the Greeks had done the impossible. A small Athenian force had defeated a Persian army and sent them retreating back across the Aegean Sea. Xerxes never forgot that humiliation. So, in 480 BC, he assembled the greatest military force the ancient world had ever seen. And he marched on Greece personally. His message to the Greek city-states was simple: submit, or be destroyed. Most of them submitted immediately, but not Sparta. To understand why 300 Spartans could hold off a 1,000,000-man army, you need to understand what a Spartan actually was. Spartan boys were taken from their mothers at age 7, not to go to school, to go to war training. The program was called the agoge, and it was brutal beyond anything we can imagine today. Boys were given almost no food and forced to steal to survive. If they were caught stealing, they weren't punished for stealing. They were punished for getting caught. They slept outside in all weather. They fought each other constantly. They were beaten, starved, and pushed to the absolute limits of human endurance. By the time a Spartan male was 20, he had been training for 13 years straight. By 30, he was a full Spartan warrior, one of the most dangerous human beings alive. The Spartan warrior didn't just know how to fight. Fighting was the only thing he had ever done, the only thing he had ever been trained for, the only thing that mattered. And their formation, the phalanx, was a weapon in itself. Shields locked together, spears forward, a wall of bronze and iron moving as one single organism. These were the men King Leonidas brought to Thermopylae. Part 3. The Pass. Why Thermopylae was chosen. Leonidas wasn't suicidal. He was strategic. The Greek Council, the Congress of Corinth, needed time. Time for the Greek navy to prepare. Time for the city-states to organize. Time that could only be bought with blood. Leonidas chose the Pass of Thermopylae, meaning the Hot Gates, for a very specific reason. The pass was barely 15 meters wide at its narrowest point. Think about that. 15 meters. The width of a small house. It didn't matter if Xerxes had 1 million soldiers or 10 million. Only a fraction of them could fight at any one time. In that narrow pass, numbers meant almost nothing. Leonidas brought 300 of his finest Spartan warriors. But he wasn't alone. He also had roughly 7,000 allied Greek soldiers from other city-states. For 2 days, this force held the most powerful army on Earth. The Persians sent wave after wave. The immortals, Xerxes' most elite fighters, were thrown at the pass and pushed back every single time. Xerxes, watching from his golden throne on a nearby hill, reportedly rose to his feet 3 times in horror at the sight of his men being slaughtered.
For 2 days, the Spartans were unbreakable. Then came the betrayal. A local Greek man named Ephialtes, motivated by the promise of Persian gold, approached Xerxes with a secret. There was another path through the mountains, a hidden trail that bypassed the pass entirely and came out directly behind the Greek position. Xerxes sent his immortals on a night march through that trail. When Leonidas received word at dawn that the Persians were coming from behind, he made a decision that has echoed through history for 2,500 years. He dismissed most of the Greek allied forces, sent them home to fight another day. But he and his 300 Spartans stayed. Some accounts say he had no choice. Spartan law forbade retreat. Others say he chose it deliberately, to buy the rest of Greece every last possible hour. Either way, the 300 stayed, knowing they would die. That morning, a Persian messenger reportedly told Leonidas that Persian arrows were so numerous they would block out the sun. A Spartan soldier smiled and replied, "Good, then we shall fight in the shade." Part 5. The Last Stand. The final battle began. Surrounded on both sides, their spears broken, the Spartans fell back to a small hill. They fought with broken spears, then with swords, then, according to ancient historian Herodotus, with their bare hands and teeth. Leonidas himself was killed in the fighting, and what happened next reveals everything about who these men were. The Spartans fought with such ferocity to recover his body that they pushed the Persians back, not once, not twice, but 4 times, dying men protecting their dead king. Eventually, overwhelmed by arrows and sheer numbers, the last Spartans fell. Xerxes, furious at the humiliation his army had suffered, ordered Leonidas's head cut off and placed on a spike. It was not the act of a confident conqueror. It was the act of a man who had been terrified by 300 soldiers. Thermopylae was, by any military definition, a defeat. The pass was taken. The Spartans were dead. The Persians marched on. But something happened at that narrow pass that no army could have planned. The Greek city-states, for the first time, united. Athens evacuated its citizens. The Greek navy regrouped. And weeks later, at the Battle of Salamis, the Persian fleet was destroyed. The Persian invasion collapsed. Greece survived. Western civilization as we know it, democracy, philosophy, science, art, survived. And it survived in part because 300 men chose to stand in a narrow pass and fight to the last breath. There is an inscription carved at the site of Thermopylae. It has stood for 2,500 years. It reads, "Go tell the Spartans, stranger passing by, that here, obedient to their laws, we lie. No glory, no boasting, just duty." That is the real story of the 300. If this video moved you, subscribe for more untold stories from military history. Every week we go deeper into the battles and the warriors that shaped our world. Share this with someone who needs to hear it.